Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's an example yesterday I saw of this woman who's been here. I mean, we might even play this clip. She's been here 20 years. She has 3 kids who were born here. Her kids are because of birthright citizenship, which is another subject that's coming up. And she's never bothered to even try to resolve her immigration status. Not in 20 years. She has never tried to resolve her immigration status. Not through Republican presidents, not through Democratic presidents, nothing. And so now, she's worried about being deported because they put out the sob story of this woman. Well, that's not the average person they're even looking at right now. The average person they're looking at crossed in the last 3 years are CNN is cutting jobs to embrace the digital future. No, because they're cutting jobs because, as I like to say, they suck. CNN is undergoing a significant restructuring, planning to lay off about 200 employees, which constitutes approximately 6% of its workforce. This move is part of a broader strategy under CEO Mark Thompson to pivot towards a digital-first approach, focusing on expanding digital subscriptions and reducing costs from traditional TV operations. Wait a minute. Didn't they already try the CNN subscription service, which failed miserably? Which, if you truly have compassion for trans kids, you would allow them to all go through puberty, because 90% of kids who think they're trans change their mind once they go through puberty. That puberty is the fix for most of the problems. But you guys want the medicalization of kids and sterilization of kids and medical and surgical altering of kids who can't make that decision at 12 years old or 13 years old. Diablo asks, why is it when I try to show empathy and concern, people always misconstrue it? Last time I asked someone if their mom at least got a good check from the clinic that botched the abortion. Oh! Oh, God. Damn it, AD. I think you just need to find a gentle limit.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
I would be willing to bet everything I own that submitting a 22-minute video montage that shows the most egregious acts of violence you can find from that day, when the defendant in question is on that video for only 6 seconds and the scene walking calmly, is highly prejudicial and a violation of the defendant's due process rights. The person was found guilty and sentenced to 19 months in prison. Now, it took 2 hours to read through all of the documents that were in the case file. Every motion submitted by the defendant was denied. Every motion by the defendant was denied. How often does that happen? And every motion submitted by the government was granted. They turned a trespass misdemeanor that would have resulted in a $50 ticket into 5 misdemeanors and a felony charge by charging the defendant with a statute that would have required the Secret Service to rope off the section he was in, which they did not. They also charged him with a statute that would have been required them to prove Mike Pence was in the building at the time he walked through that corridor. He was not. And finally, they used an Enron statute that the Supreme Court struck down. If you accept a pardon, you are admitting guilt. Period. That's the, because you can't be pardoned if you're not guilty.
Whether he can preemptive pardon, whether he can issue President's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr.
Oh,
that
you
would be a
can't?
gross abuse
Oh,
of the presidential
it's a
pardon authority.
gross abuse
President-
of presidential pardon authority. Well, there you go. You accepted a pardon, Adam Kinzinger. You think you may have committed a crime. Oh, here, Jamie Raskin. Dirty Q-tip. Dirty Q-tip, Jamie Raskin. What else? What did he have to say?
Well, the seeking of pardons is
Yes, it's only on
powerful
one side.
demonstration of the consciousness of guilt, or
Ah,
at least the consciousness that you may be in trouble.
Jamie
And that's
Raskin.
what's so shocking
Did he
about
get a
this.
pardon also? Wasn't he on
Well,
that committee?
The seeking of pardons is
He was on that committee. I'm curious if you're going to condemn that part. Are you going to condemn that pardon?
Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain.
Lots of murderers, lots of drug dealers, lots of people who killed people, commuted the sentence of a couple murderers. One drug dealer who people died from taking the drugs that they sold them.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
The Obama Aniston rumors have gone wild. Rumors have emerged on social media that suggest Barack and Michelle Obama might be heading towards divorce, with speculators thinking Barack Obama to actress Jennifer Aniston. Those rumors have gained traction following Michelle Obama's absence from Jimmy Carter's funeral and the inauguration, and are based on tabloid stories and social media speculation without solid confirmation from the individuals involved. So far, they're still rumors, and I don't know why people are perpetuating them, but it is kind of fun to perpetuate rumors like that. No one's come out to, out and out deny anything. That's the weird part.
We should just take a deep breath and acknowledge the audacity.
The audacity!
Of a president who's so clearly concerned about his own criminal culpability.
Oh my God, his own criminal culpability and his son's business dealings. I know that they're talking about Joe Biden, aren't they?
And that of his family members.
Like the boy asked, are cats really soul suckers? Yes. Yes. That's why I'm not into cats. Dogs, man. I'm a dog guy. Avocado Diablo, is there an aisle in a grocery store that is less objectionable to have sex in? Where do you come up with this shit? Dude.
Has done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician has risen.
Yes.
Somebody who 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, a dead.
And I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding Donald Trump's demise that has failed. I wonder how many people at Davos, again, let me say it again. I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding what they had hoped would be Trump's demise. I bet you there's a few of them there. And it didn't work, did it now? Didn't work now, did it?
Politically known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
End of the show, every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
I'm back. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where my long hiatus is over. I am here. I am rested. Well, no, I'm not. I need a vacation from the vacation, but we're not going to talk about my vacation because somebody already complained about me talking about my vacation the last time I put this thing on, so I'm not going to. If you want to hear about my vacation, there's a link in the links today to my Instagram where I'm going to be posting stuff about it, pretty much with little commentary, just pictures and cool shit. But there is some news in my personal life that I am going to share. If you happen to follow my Marty Got Jokes channel and have been following the fact that I've been opening cards that my daughter gave me on my 60th birthday last year, she gave me a big old stack of cards, more than 60. There was supposed to be 60, but I think she got lost count, and I think it ended up being 66 or 67 or something. Anyway, I finally opened the last card, and these cards were opened completely randomly. In fact, she put them in this box, and I actually dropped the box one time. The cards went all over the place, so I had to pick them all up. So they were definitely in a random order. And guess what? The very last card I opened was the birthday card. And I understand that as I've been trying to figure out the odds of that happening. The odds of that happening are around 1% of that card being the last card being opened. And it's funny because the last few that I opened, we opened while I was on vacation that I'm not going to talk about. But I actually had the people randomly choose the card. So it wasn't something that I fixed to make it be the last card. So anyway, there's a link to that channel, at least the Instagram version. I suppose I could put it doesn't matter. It's Marty Got Jokes, both on Instagram and YouTube. You can look at that. It was quite actually emotional opening the last card. That was pretty wild because I wasn't really sure. I thought at some point I thought, did I open the card and set it aside so I could read it with my daughter or something? Nope. It was actually the very last card I opened out of 67. And there you go. The apparently odds of it being the last card are 100%. Well, no. Well, I get, yeah, if it's the last card and it's only one left. Well, I'm talking about opening 66 random cards, and the card that is different from the others ended up being the last one through random draw. It's crazy. So anyway, you can go there. And also if you want to scroll through some of the jokes, some of them are funny, some of them are dumb, some of them it's an entertaining series if I say so myself. So anyway, also there, I leave for a little while, and I tried not to pay attention to news from home when I was over in Spain, and holy crap. I stopped. I didn't pay attention there was like 4 or 5 days where I just said, I'm not going to even look at it. I don't care what's happening at home. I'm enjoying my time with Lady Boomer and traveling around and stuff. And I look and I see the thing about, I knew that the big protests were happening the 14th. That was, that was after we got back. But the stuff that was happening while I was gone, the protests and the lawmaker that got killed here in Minnesota, that was messed up. There was so much stuff going on that I didn't even want to keep up with it. So I came home and sort of got stuff, whatever. But anyway, over in the Q&A, I added a Q&A already this morning. If there's things that you think I should know about or didn't talk about or whatever over these 3 weeks, drop them in the Q&A over there, and we'll see if we can look at some of it up while we're here. We'll just kind of randomly look up stuff, like, for example, Kara Soldier, about Greta Thunberg getting tossed out of Israel. Now, I didn't know that. I don't know what had happened, but that sounds funny to me. Avocados Diablo, I've been a few interesting things in your neck of the woods. You got an illegal alien in your state house. Yeah, that's what she said. And, of course, a few others getting taken out by a Tim Walz appointed nut job. Well, look, from what I'm gathering, yes, he was appointed to a Tim Walz commission or something. But the guy used to be a registered Republican in Oklahoma. I mean, everyone's making a big deal about, oh, he's a MAGA guy. Oh, I don't care. Fuck that guy. You don't kill people you disagree with politically. I don't care who it is, and I will gladly disown that motherfucker from anything resembles my political positions on the United States and the world. Fuck that guy. Whether he's on my side or not. And maybe that's the difference here, because it's funny. There's I don't see anybody celebrating that asshole. Unlike when Mangione, that little fuckwad who shot the CEO of United Healthcare. By the way, there was some stuff going on at United Healthcare here in Minnesota recently, that there was a big police presence there. Oh, that was the other thing. So while this is all going on, we get home. I've been home actually since Thursday, but I had so much stuff to catch up on. And yesterday, my lady boomer took yesterday off, and we just wanted to have one more day where you could hang out. So we did, and I didn't do the show because of that. And also I had some things to take care of, like go pick up our mail and stuff, because I had held until now. I just had a bunch of shit to do, so I didn't do the show yesterday. But on Saturday, so we had another wedding to go to on Saturday. My son was the best man in the wedding, a close friend of his. We're friends with his family, whatnot. And so my son's in town, and my daughter-in-law, and my son's in-laws, whatever, everyone's in town. And that's the day that we are driving. Oh, no, it's Sunday, the day after the wedding. First of all, that Saturday was the protest day. So we were kind of concerned, because the wedding that we had to go to, we had to drive through St. Paul to get to the wedding. And I'm like, oh God, are we going to get stuck with some protesters on the road and all that shit? But fortunately, that did not happen. And then on Sunday, that was the day that they found the asshole who shot the lawmakers. And so we're about to go to brunch. This is Father's Day. And unfortunately, we had coffee with my son in the morning because he had to take his flight back home. And we plan on going to brunch with one of our friends. And we're driving down the freeway, and the 4 police cars and the SWAT team from my police department in the little suburb I live in go flying by in a completely different suburb. There's all these cop cars going west. And we're like, okay, what the hell's going on here? Why are my police officers going that way? And we find out that, they have the guy surrounded, and they go, I guess that's the day they caught him out in some other county, but they had police officers from a bunch of different jurisdictions going out there to help. But also there was an incident at United Healthcare. Okay. Where they had a lockdown of the area of that United Healthcare offices out in western suburbs here. And also in my neighborhood, we get a police alert where we went to go have a Bloody Mary at my favorite bar after brunch, and at Trail Stop Tavern, for those of you who know that. And we get an alert. The neighborhood right behind my neighborhood, like literally if you go through some houses and whatever, you're in another little neighborhood, and there's an alert there where there's a police emergency, shelter at home, stay away from your windows, whatever. So there's a big thing going on. We found out it was a domestic dispute. We didn't know what was going on. We're like, did that shit move over to our neighborhood? Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy coming back here. And I'm just like, God, what? I'm not leaving ever again, because that world loses its damn mind every time I stop doing this show. I guess that's the point. So anyway, here we go. Oh, the Air India crash. Yeah. So when that plane crashed, and I'll say hi to everybody in a second. when that plane crashed in India, we were boarding a flight. I think it was the flight. We were going back from Barcelona back to Malaga. And I saw that on my phone, and I'm like, do I even mention this to Lady Boomer? Because Lady Boomer doesn't like flying, first of all. She hates flying. And she has to either have some Ativan or some cocktails before a flight, because she just does not like flying. Especially, she doesn't mind when you're just flying, but she hates takeoffs and landings, and she hates turbulence. And one of our flights had a lot of turbulence. But anyway, I didn't mention that one because look, the probability of you being in a plane that crashes is super tiny. But you don't want to hear about one just as you're boarding a plane. And I'm like, nope, not telling her about this one. Anyway, let's say hi to everybody and actually do a show here at some point instead of me just rambling on. First in the chat today, of course, is, Mr. Avocados Diablo. He gets the bell. Things are right. Oh my gosh, why is that so soft? Let's start over. Let's try it again. There we go. Yay! Thank you, AD, for being here. You know we love you, brother. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. The bloated corpse of a kitten tossed in a creek. I have no idea. Who is that? By the way, tell me who you are, because I know it's a changed name just to fuck with YouTube. Also, good morning, Kara Soldier. I said Mike Savage. Bookworm Addict, what's up? Rick Ashbringer's here. Somnambule Nation, thank you for tweeting out the show, as you always do. Blue Eyed Scream 76, what up? Good morning. Who else is? JB's in the house. Son of the Pope. Oh, the Pope. The Pope Tyrannus III. The Blessed Lich is here. Thank you. Good morning. Let's see who else. Renee Mayette, what's up? Nice to see you. Tribute Liberty, what's up, my brother? Good to see you. And Patio Furniture, hello. And am I missing anybody? I think that's everybody. Bloated Corpse, what's your normal name? Like when you do this stuff. Wait, it is AD. This is one of my other 50 accounts. Did you already say it somewhere else? I'm not sure. It looks like the Random American account, but it's not. Forgot I had this one. I made this just to see if they would allow me. Yeah, I know that. Who are you? Who are you normally? Also, we got our first sponsor of the day. Thank you, JB, dropping a 5 spot in the tip jar. Who says Marty doesn't play? Why is this not working over here? By the way, that's weird. Why Marty doesn't play 40K? LOL, a number of times I told Buddy not to roll snake eyes. To watch it happen is crazy. A 1 in 36 chance. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, this is so weird. It's so weird that card did not come up. And for some reason, I can't see my. Why is this not working? I can't see my notifications. So let me open a different window so I can, in case there's any other notifications over here, because I can't read any Streamlabs right now. So let me go on the website. Just in case, if those pop up, I will be able to read those. Where is it? It's tipping and tip history. Tip history. There we go. All right. So, which my last one was May 21st. Okay, there you go. All right, cool. All right, let's talk about some stuff, because there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, lots of stuff. What do you, Boomer? What with Boomer? What? It's not. I can't help it if the technology does not work when it's supposed to work. It's supposed to just pop up there, and for some reason, it's still got that thing like it's buffering going, and I don't know why it's doing that, but it's doing that buffering thing like this. Buffer. It's just, it keeps this whatever, and as opposed to the circle buffer thing. There's nothing I can do about it. Who else would name an account that? I don't know. Well, it is buffering. That's what I'm saying. That particular part of the stream is buffering. By the way, I have my cup of coffee. Now I thought this was a Picasso because, okay, one thing about the trip, we've got to go to the boyhood home of Pablo Picasso, one of the great artists of modern times. And this is not a Picasso though. This is what is this cup? Something like Alicenare, something like that. I have no idea who that is, but they're obviously influenced by Picasso. New cup. Anyway. All right. Let's see. What do we got in the news today? I don't have a lot of, in fact, I really don't have any tabs open other than this one, because now this is not about my trip, but it is about where I took a trip, because right now there are protests. All right, let me go back here. There are protests in Southern Europe right now against over tourism. And I didn't see this. In fact, the people, when we were in Spain, and by the way, when we were in Spain, we were in Morocco for a little bit, just for a day. We took a ferry over to Morocco to check out Tangier. We also went to Gibraltar. We also went to Dublin, Ireland. We had an 18-hour layover. We walked around Ireland. But apparently there's protests going on in Spain over tourism. Protests against mass tourism are occurring across Spain, Italy, and Portugal due to concerns over rising housing costs and the displacement of local residents. Demonstrators in Barcelona have notably used water pistols as a symbolic gesture against tourists. This SET Alliance and similar groups are advocating for more sustainable tourism practices to balance the benefits of tourism with the needs of local communities. Now that's interesting because tourism, I didn't realize how many tourists go to Spain. I didn't know anything about Spain. And but it's like a huge part of their economy in Italy, Spain, Portugal, not so much, but Spain and Italy, I guess. I didn't realize Spain. By the way, I didn't realize Spain was beautiful. I didn't know what to expect. It was amazing. But someone I'd put here that, yeah, here it is. 14% of Barcelona's economy is due to the tourism industry. 12.3% of Spain's GDP was from tourism in 2023. So it's a big part of their economy. But something else, when we were there, we learned, there's a lot of people buying like vacation homes in Spain, especially from the UK. They buy these, beautiful homes along the Mediterranean. And so I guess I could see how maybe, tourism is causing some issues as far as the cost of living. And in Malaga, with the town we spent most of our time in, although we went to four different cities in Spain while we were there, but we spent most of our time in Malaga. And Malaga it's its old historic town, has a beautiful fort that we traveled to. But someone one of the tours was saying too that it's becoming more expensive to live in Malaga because they're getting a lot more tourists, because it's a very beautiful city. It's right on the Mediterranean coast. There's beaches and whatever. It's beautiful. And also they just built a new subway system. They've got 2 lines so far built up. But that's costing the local people money. But, if you have tourism in the town, that's bringing a shit ton of money to the economy. But there are a lot of, we get there and they have the hop on buses. You can tour around the city and go to all the cool sites and whatnot. So it's fascinating. Once Europe becomes a Muslim country, over tourism won't be a problem. Just ask Lebanon. Well, here's the thing though. What's interesting too is, while historically southern Spain has had a lot of Muslim influence, because a lot of the Ottoman Empire took over southern Spain at one point, but also the Roman Empire took over the southern Spain. Spain, and the Moors took over Spain for a long time. But what's interesting, there's not a whole lot of, I didn't see a whole lot of Muslim people in Spain. And, especially when we went to Morocco, and obviously Morocco's mostly Muslim country, but I didn't see it in Spain. But if you go to London, or you go to anywhere in the UK, in Great Britain, London especially, England especially, or Ireland or Wales, you see a lot of Muslim people everywhere. And see it in Spain. So I don't know why why they're attracted to the UK versus Spain. Maybe Spain doesn't have the social safety net that you automatically get when you go there. I don't know. But this is interesting. So Sky News has this thing going here. This is the view of the protests in Spain. They're setting off smoke bombs and shooting tourists with squirt guns. Demonstrators in Barcelona have taken to the streets with water guns and flares to protest. Hey, here's one thing though, I would say. At least they're not saying death to America. And, oh, the other thing too, I got no animosity from the Spaniards. I think only one person even said anything about Donald Trump in Spain, which is interesting because we were in Spain almost 2 weeks, almost a full 2 weeks. In Ireland, which we were in Ireland for a total of like 16 hours, and part of that was sleeping. We walked around Dublin about 5 hours. We walked around Dublin. Got asked about Trump about 4 times. So people in Spain didn't care. People in Dublin were like, yeah, what do you think of Trump? I said, we don't talk politics here. We're on vacation. So anyway, hello, Ms. Wild Wolf and Kay Shull and Evan S. Welcome to the show. So anyway, I guess we left Spain just in time, and we were in Barcelona, but that wasn't, there were no protests while we were there. We had nothing but a good time. But yeah, here it is. Like what, this sign I saw in the beginning is, tourism is killing Barcelona. Tourism is a huge part of the economy of Barcelona. Let's look at this article from The Independent. Let's see what this says. Barcelona protesters tell tourists to go home. You know, American tourists actually tip over there. They don't tip. There's not like a tipping culture there, but we tipped anyway. Here's just highlights. Thousands of protesters have demonstrated against over-tourism in major cities across Southern Europe, including Barcelona, Lisbon, and Venice. In Barcelona, which attracted 26 million tourists in 2024. That's interesting. So Barcelona attracted 26 million tourists in 2024. That's less than Disneyland. That's less than the Mall of America. Because the Mall of America, I think, had 42 million tourists go through it, or visitors in 2024. Now, granted, a lot of those visitors are from places around the U.S. I don't say it's there from everywhere. But anyway, Barcelona, which attracted 26 million tourists in 2024, protesters targeted hotels and shops with slogans like "Mass tourism kills the city," and your holidays, my misery. Protesters say uncontrolled tourism is pricing local residents out of their neighborhoods. I'm not sure how, though, unless people are buying second homes in Barcelona. Stickers displayed on buildings said, "Tourists go home." Similar demonstrations occurred in other Spanish cities like Ibiza, Malaga, and Palma de Mallorca, and in Italian cities such as Genoa, Naples, and Venice, where locals are opposing new hotel construction. Barcelona city government plans to bar apartment rentals to tourists by 2028 to improve living conditions for residents. Now, you know what? I kind of get it, but like, for example, the hotel we stayed in was not in the touristy district. We just stayed in a small hotel. At least the second time. We were there twice because we left and came back. We stayed in a little hotel that was in a neighborhood, and we just kind of quietly walked around, went to the store, bought groceries and things like that, went to the laundromat, drank at coffee shops. We went to an automobile museum. But again, I'm not going to talk about it. You can find it on my Instagram eventually, or Marty's Big Journey, or I'll put the links in the chat too, or in the description, to the YouTube versions of these, because some of you don't have Instagram. But if you want to see that stuff, that'll be there. I'm not going to talk about it here. All right, enough about that. So that's interesting that we survived the tourist protest. What are the other things I want to talk about today? Let me open this back up. Oh, by the way, let's find out about Greta Thunberg getting tossed from Israel. Let me find that real quick. Let's see, Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg, Gaza. Oh, let's do that. Let's see. And I'll make a special. I'll do a link for this too. Because I'm not prepared today, so I'm just going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. All right, Greta Thunberg, Gaza. Why is this? Oh, my computer's kind of slow today. All right, here we go. Someone says, I couldn't make this up if I tried. A group of European activists pulled a Greta Thunberg goes to Cairo move, demanding that Egyptians break the Gaza siege. The Egyptian crowd responded by breaking them instead. Now they're in custody, passports confiscated, under investigation. We try to tell you, Arabs aren't signing up for the Hamas fan club, but nope, you chose to listen to the Western Islamists over regular Muslims. Yeah, that happened in Egypt. They were protesting the gates in Gaza because, you know, they bitch about the Israelis with their very strict border control from Gaza into Israel, but they forget that Egypt is even worse. Egypt does not let anyone from Gaza into Egypt. They're like, no, fuck off. You fuckers are a problem. So anyway, let's see. For years, youth shielded Greta Thunberg from criticism. She's now a young woman, and so we can freely point out that she's an extraordinary imbecile. There's an article in the Washington Examiner. Let's see what this one says. Blue-eyed Scream, what up? Good morning. Okay, so here we go. Greta Thunberg is the embodiment of progressive vapidity. That's a very good description of Greta Thunberg. Let's see what this says. Professional leftist Greta Thunberg was brought to Israel this week after the selfie yacht she was traveling on attempted to break through a naval blockade of Gaza. Oh my God, they are so stupid. Do they understand that there are places in this world that just won't let you in if you do that shit? Anyway, attempting to break through a naval blockade of Gaza, the Madeleine was part of a flotilla pretending to deliver aid to alleviate an imaginary famine. The same day, 62 Israeli trucks carrying food entered the Gaza Strip. The 22-year-old was given food and shelter and sent home by the Israeli government, which she accused of kidnapping her. All the usual suspects went along with this predictable framing. Let me see what this says here. Here's the video. Let's play that.
Did an illegal act by kidnapping us on international waters and
She's
against our
fucking
will,
retarded.
bringing us to Israel.
Activist Greta Thunberg was deported from Israel after being detained following her attempt
She
to break
says they kidnapped her?
Israel's naval blockade of the Gaza Strip to deliver aid. She was put on a plane to Paris, where she then departed to her home country of Sweden.
Aww.
12 activists were detained after Israeli naval forces boarded the Madeleine. Thunberg is among 3 of those who will be deported, and 9 others have refused deportation. The group said some were encouraged to accept deportation to speak about their experiences, while the others will have their cases heard at an Israeli court.
Go the fuck home.
Blocking and preventing humanitarian aid from entering Gaza, that is illegal.
Well, that's straight up bullshit, because as they said, 62 trucks of aid came into Israel that day. Was it 62 or 22? It doesn't matter. They This is the only war that I've ever seen where one of the combatants in the war is expected to provide aid to the enemy. Isn't that strange? I don't get it. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. Anyway.
The Legal Center for Arab Minority Rights in Israel will be representing the 9 remaining activists. In a statement, the organization argued that the activists' detention was illegal under international law.
Why? You tried to enter the country illegally? Yeah, try that in Russia. That'd be something else, wouldn't it? If they try that shit in Russia. Anyway, let's play this again.
Rights attorney Haweda Aroff said, quote, "This seizure blatantly violates international law."
How?
The ICJ's
What the fuck is international law, by the way? I mean, I get it. We try to have certain things that are universal throughout the world as far as trade and as far as what you can and can't do, where you can go, whatnot. But I'm sorry, you are going to try to break through a naval blockade, ships with guns on your little, paid for by some activist yacht. You're kind of stupid if you ask me.
Binding order requiring unimpeded humanitarian access to Gaza. The activist group says it will be sending more ships to try to break Israel's blockade until, quote, Palestine.
Well, the ships have guns. That's my question. Good luck.
Palestine is free.
I think Israel has enough problems without kidnapping Greta Thunberg.
Oh no!
Is that what she said? She was kidnapped by Israel?
Oh, okay. He was
Israel
being
insists that its
facetious.
naval blockade is essential to prevent arms smuggling to Hamas.
Okay, so that's how the Washington Examiner put it up there. There's a link to the story and to the here. Let's mute that. So yeah, if you refresh this, you'll get the rest of the story there. So there you go, Greta Thunberg. Way to go! You couldn't get in. So sad. So sad. Okay, what else is on this list here? Might check and see if there's anything happening in California. There's a lot of shit happening in California. Biggest thing you missed this past few weeks is meth raccoon. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Meth raccoon. Okay, let's just look that up. Let's check that out. Meth. I'm going to put it in the thing here. Meth raccoon. Oh, wait. N. Oh, what is this? Meth raccoon. Okay, so y'all are laughing. By the way, Greta must have listened to the Queen of Africa as a child and thought you could be a gunship with a dinghy. I'm not sure what that means. Meth raccoon. Okay, wait a minute. A raccoon trying to smoke a meth pipe during a vehicle search in Springfield Township. That's about May 6th. Oh, it's the body cam of a raccoon that keeps finding meth. I got it right here. Here we go. Okay, let's watch this one, because this is for your entertainment purposes. Okay, here it is. This is the body cam footage of a traffic stop, and apparently the raccoon is finding meth pipes. Okay, here we go.
Hi, how are we doing today? I'm Officer Brandon, Springfield Township Police Department.
Okay, stop it, John.
Why does she have a raccoon in her car anyway? I'm trying to figure that out. All right.
How are you?
So the reason I stopped you is you are suspended with a warrant for your arrest.
I am?
Oh.
So do me a favor, turn off the car, put the keys up on the dash, detain you for that warrant, and because you are suspended actively. Oh. Hey.
What? Is everyone in the car on meth?
The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my God.
Her meth pipe. He's playing with the meth pipe right now. No, don't reach for it. That's evidence now.
Oh, I don't want him to have that.
That's why I'm gonna do it.
Oh my God.
Huh?
It's okay.
Okay, you're on Arlington. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right across from my house.
Is that what that
A few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what she's smoking meth in.
Okay.
The
Is he
raccoon's
finding
playing with her
more?
meth pipe.
All right.
Okay, that is funny.
Oh, there's no way.
He found another one.
All right.
There's no way.
Oh my God.
All right. Enough fun and games.
Here.
Is he going to find another one? He's found two.
Huh?
Oh.
Yeah, he's on his way here.
Keep an eye. She was trying to take the meth pipe out of the car. Just keep an eye on her real quick.
Okay, that is funny. I've not seen that one. It says from May 6th, but still, that's some funny shit. All right, what else is on this list here? Air India crash. Yeah, that's wild. First of all, I think from now on every flight that I take, I think I'm going to try to get seat 11A. What the fuck? One dude survived that crash. I don't know anything about it. Let me put a link to it. I'm sure you guys have all seen it because you've seen everything already. I just got home. I wasn't paying attention to the news. Air India crash. All right, let's look that up. What's in there? So yeah, this happened. What was the date that this happened? I'm trying to remember. But yeah, we were getting, like I said, we were getting on a plane that day, and I saw the news about it, but I was not about to tell Lady Boomer because she already hates flying. And I should refresh this. Sorry guys, like I said, for some reason Streamlabs is not working properly. So if you do a Streamlabs, I have to pay attention by refreshing this over here. Oh, what did I do there? Okay, I'm good. All right, Air India crash. Back to that. Here's a new video of the lone survivor of the Air India crash supposedly walking out of an inferno holding his cell phone with barely a scratch. Am I the only one not buying this story? I'm not buying it, but let's see what they have here. By the way, he's confirmed to be on the flight. Let's see. I hope this man knows Jesus Christ saved him from an India air crash. Wow. Okay, this is the guy. Is this the guy who survived?
What was the situation yesterday? Can you describe for us, please?
I can't explain. Everything happened in my eye. I can't.
How did you manage to escape? Did you pull the emergency doors?
No. Emergency door is broken.
Yeah.
My seat is broken.
Yeah.
Then I see the page little bit.
Yeah.
Then I will try to come out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
So, did the aircraft catch fire before you came out?
Yes.
Okay.
Little bit fire. After me, I'm out. Then blast.
So, did anybody help you, or you after that you came out on your own?
Okay. I think she's asking a dumb question here. Did anybody help you? No, everybody was dead. I'm the only one who survived. Who would have helped him? Unless emergency services got in there really quick.
How did you jump from the aircraft?
I'm not jumping.
Okay.
I just walk out, innit? Okay. Then ambulance coming in.
You did walk out on the building, or?
No, in floor.
On the floor.
Yes.
Okay.
Inside the aeroplane.
Only the airplane.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's amazing. That's amazing. Anything else here? Air India plane crash was awful. Of course it was awful, but it provided more evidence that the official 9/11 story is a complete utter bullshit. Okay. The Ahmedabad crash involved a low-speed impact on a 2-story brick building, while the 9/11 jets hit 110-story steel skyscrapers at 500 to 600 miles per hour. Differences in speed, structure, and fire make the comparisons invalid. Pushing the pilot error theory above all else, the Air India 171 crash is an organized attempt to shield the big fish of the aviation world from action and scrutiny. Somebody need to say it. I did this on my show last night. Yeah, this was another Boeing plane, but look, I'm sure there's at least 10,000 Boeing planes flying right now. I mean, granted, I don't even know which model plane. Let's see this is.
Friends, this isn't an emotional message tonight. It's one of cold, growing anger. I don't know if that's
I'll
the
put a
word
separate link for this
because
one.
There's no real room for emotion in this business. But what we're watching unfold in the aftermath of the AI-171 air crash tragedy is not just tragic, it's calculated. Yes, pilot error is always a possibility in an air crash. It happens. Even the best, most experienced aviators
But if both engines
have made
failed?
errors. But what we're calling out tonight on India Matters is the very visible, very organized, and frankly devious attempt to quietly push the pilot error narrative into the bloodstream of public perception more than any of the other possible theories for this terrible tragedy.
Because they have to shield
Subtly,
somebody.
Systematically, and to great effect. Once again, I tell you, this is said without emotion, and I will demonstrate it tonight. The late Captain Sumit Sabharwal is at the center of this, a pilot with a spotless record, impeccable skill, and the respect of all of his peers. And yet, with
Renee, I'm gonna stop. I just saw your comment. You couldn't pay me enough to be the only survivor. Oh, hell no. The guilt you would feel. I mean, granted, you'd be glad to be alive, but what if, your family's on the plane or whatever, or even if you were just flying for business on your own, being the only survivor of a crash and just the attention, you just want to get out of the limelight as quickly as you could. It's because I'm sure it's just crazy.
In hours of the crash last week, the whispering began online, offline, by so-called experts, even foreign TikTok aviators with zero access to actual facts, dropping breadcrumbs of blame at the cockpit door. Now, let's be very clear. We're not defending emotions. We are defending fairness and justice. What we object to
He's making a good point here,
is
I
the
think.
chillingly familiar pattern.
Hello, select the boys in the house.
Put the spotlight squarely on the pilots. Suggest pilot error, suggest human error early, shape the narrative, prime the public mood, and in doing so, steer the investigation away from deeper, structural, systemic, or corporate questions. And it's working.
Yeah.
The noise grows around the pilots. Everyone says, oh, pilot error. Meanwhile...
How do you know it's not maintenance error? How do you know it's not design flaws? How do you know it's not any number of things that could have gone wrong? But this thing, he's right. That depends. Am I the only one willing to wear a life? Oh, I'm reading something else.
Silence deepens around the aircraft. The maintenance, the regulatory lapses, the airline safety culture, the blame shifts from billion-dollar systems to a human being who can no longer speak for himself because he is no longer alive. Everyone we've spoken to who flew with Captain Sumit, colleagues, crew, commanders say the same thing.
There's a 30-year pilot.
There's no way he could have made a mistake. Pilot error is not even possible. But even if, for argument's sake, he did, the question is,
been a black
why?
Hole. Okay, Don Lemon. AD, that's funny as shit.
That is the only theory being whispered louder than the rest. That is my objection tonight. Because when you manufacture perception, even before an investigation has taken place, you manufacture pressure. And when you manufacture pressure, you shape accountability. Conveniently, selectively, cynically, and quietly. So tonight we ask the question.
Okay, we get it. That's a good point. That's a great point, and a very valid point. I think it's, why is that theory being pushed so hard for a 30-year pilot with a spotless record? So I'll make a separate link for that one if you want to find that one again. Let's see. At the Indiana crash site, a local man collected 70 tolas of gold, jewelry, and cash. You know what he did? He handed over everything to government officials. This is right here. This is what makes Gujarat and Gujaratis different from others. Honest, peaceful, no language wars, no regional conflicts. They even face severe attacks for being unapologetically Hindu and for voting BJP, but they don't care. They stay focused on their work and business. That's honorable. And it'd be so tempting if you're gathering stuff to just take it. Hero Air India plane crash pilot saved dozens of lives by diverting the jet at the last second. Okay, let's see what that is. Sorry, so you can't see it right there. There you go. Read the full story at the Daily Mail. Apparently, he was going towards a larger complex, and he diverted it to hit this least amount of people as possible. So that's good. So that's some pilot experience. This is the best theory I've heard so far as to what caused the Air India crash a few days ago. Let's see if Vince Langeman has a good one here. Let's see what this guy says. Here we go.
This is a total game changer.
Oh, this is about the he'll tell you. It's about this piece that comes down out of the plane, telling you that there may have been a massive electrical failure or other equipment failure.
Right there, my friends. Take a look. We've circled it for you. Now, a lot of people have been talking about the theory that the rat had deployed. What's a rat? It's a ram air turbine. It deploys on many airplanes have it. 787 has it. 777 has it. The rat is basically just behind the wing on the right side of the airplane. There's a little door that holds it in, and it looks like a little Evinrude motor. It's a little two-bladed prop, and the purpose of the ram air turbine is to provide electrical and hydraulic pressure for the aircraft in an extreme emergency.
Wow.
On the 787 in particular, there's three things that will deploy the rat, and it deploys automatically. A massive electrical failure, a massive hydraulic failure, or a dual engine failure. So any one of those three things will cause that rat to deploy. So up to this point, all of the theories that we've had were based on maybe one bit of solid evidence, but not two, or maybe 1.5. But, it's hard to go with a theory when you've only got like one thing to go on. I'm going to give you three or more for why I think the rat deployed and why I think this was a dual engine failure. I'm firmly in that camp now. Number one is right here. Take a look at your screen. In the middle of the circle, you see kind of it looks like a protrusion on the belly of the aircraft.
It's hard to see in the picture, but it's
trying
there.
to be salacious with this. It looks like a nipple at the bottom of the airplane, all right? Just underneath that, you see a little gray dot. It almost looks like an artifact on the screen. That little gray dot is the rat. This is visual confirmation that the rat deployed. What is that protrusion underneath the airplane? That's the door that opened to allow the rat to come down. And you can see it here. You can see it very vividly on this screen. It's not the best. It's kind of grainy still. It's at least one bit of the puzzle here. So that's evidence number one. Now, evidence number two is with our ears, all right? Because a rat makes a very distinctive sound. And in that original video, the audio was so bad you couldn't really catch it. But in this, the one that they were showing us, the original one, it's much more clear. And it sounds like a prop airplane going by, or a real high-pitched squeal, because it's a two-bladed prop and it's basically spinning at the speed of sound to produce the energy, the electrical and the hydraulic that it needs to. So let me play this. I'm going to put it on a loop. I think we're going to listen to it 3 times. Listen for that high-pitched prop sound. Remember, this is a jet. It's not a prop. As it goes by, listen.
Oh yeah, you did hear it.
Okay, it sounded like it. If you weren't looking at it, it sounded like a single engine prop airplane just flew by. You might look up and expect to see a little Cessna going by. And in fact, it is a little bit.
Okay, so that's interesting. So possibly a dual engine failure. So I'll put a separate link to that one too. All right, we're going to move.
This is a total game changer.
Here. Let's mute that. There we go. All right. All right, cool. All right. Thanks for who suggested that. Also, someone suggested a glacier collapse in Switzerland. All right, let's look it up. Glacier.
Hi, how are we doing today? I'm
Wait,
Officer
whoa,
Brandon Springfield
shut
Township
up.
Police Department.
Hang on. Dude, that's not what I wanted to hear. That's a little loud. All right. Is that going to mute itself? This it did. All right. Glacier. Glacier collapse. Here we go. I'm sure. We're all the global warming people all over this. Oh shit! Holy shit! Okay. Oh, a chilling sign of what's melting away. I guess you've never had a glass of anything with ice in it outdoors in the middle of the summer and how this works. There's a couple different pictures of it. Here's, okay, let's do this one first. This is, because there are people a little bit close to the action here. Here's this one. People were evacuated before it collapsed. Would you want to be that close to it? Is that it? I'd be like, holy shit, get me out of here. And who stands around filming it? That can't be it. They couldn't have been that close to it. Holy shit. Okay, let's take another look from another angle here, because I'm not sure if that's really it, but we'll put that in the links. And then there's another one here. The moment the glacier collapses in Switzerland in the afternoon. Let's check this one out. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that's the one. That can't be. A whole town got wiped out. What? Not the one you think. Is this the one? I bet this is the one, right? This one? Okay. Let's try this one. Oh, I see. Okay, that was not it. This is the one in Baden, Switzerland. And my question is, how often do parts of glaciers collapse? this is way up in the mountain. And they evacuated everyone from the town first. I mean, there's landslides in the mountains too in Colorado every once in a while. And obviously there's avalanches in the mountains in the winter. Holy shit. That is quite the flow there. And, you know, the ominous music is really unnecessary. I'd almost rather hear the actual sound. Yeah, it looks like it's causing both the glacier and the landslide. Okay, there we go. That's be much more interesting just hearing the sound. Yeah, yeah, Rick, you're right. You can see it happen before. I mean, it almost looks more like just a landslide than a glacier, doesn't it? I mean, there's an awful lot of earth in that slide. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's crazy. Glaciers are in large part dirt along the edge. Okay, that makes sense. But, you know, it's just one of those things. Okay, so there's a natural phenomenon that has probably happened millions of times throughout the history of this planet. But it happens while humans are in existence, and so we believe we're the cause of it no matter what. And it's kind of our it's kind of the ego of humans thinking that we actually control everything, or we are, you know, granted we do damage to the planet, but this is holy shit. Well, I'm pretty sure State Farm will not be covering this. Oh, that's wrong of me. And I wonder where all the water from that river is going to go now. Man, that's crazy. They should have reduced their carbon footprint, obviously. Yeah, that's the answer. Oh, no, they should have paid more taxes, because that would have definitely staved off the glacier breaking. Look, as I like to say, global warming. Ever since the last ice age. So, but yeah, it's devastating for people. You feel bad for you gotta feel bad for those people, man. You're not expecting that shit. All right, that's the one you wanted. So I'm going to get rid of the link that I put up here, because that's not the one we were talking about. And we're going to put the link to the correct one in the links day. If you haven't seen this, or if you haven't if you haven't seen this version, we'll open a link to that right next to Greta Thunberg. All right, I have time for a couple more things. There were things in here. I wanted to talk about what's happening in Minnesota. I guess I did briefly. This asshat who went and killed a couple, a state senator and her husband, or state legislator, a representative and her husband, and shot a senator, and in theory had a list, had a manifesto of all these people he was going to take out. Right? Did I do the raccoon? Oh, I didn't do the raccoon. We'll do the meth raccoon too. For anyone who may not have seen it. All right, we'll put a new link for Meth Raccoon also. Unless I already did. I might have done it twice, but who cares? So they found the guy, this dickhead who murdered people. And again, I don't care if the murder has similar political affiliations as I do or not, but it's funny how all the lefties and whatever, the dickheads on X are saying, oh, this is right-wing violence. Oh, yes, these are Republicans, Trump, MAGA, violence, blah, blah, blah. The same people excuse violence from the left constantly. They excuse violence from the protesters in California. They excuse violence from the protesters in Minnesota. They excuse violence constantly, unless, of course, it happens to be the rare times that the violence comes from the right. And it definitely comes from the left a lot more. Anytime that they start talking about right-wing violence, what do they bring up? Well, they bring up January 6th. Well, that was what, 4 years ago? They bring up Charlottesville. Oh, that was what, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, 9 years ago, I think. They bring up, or was Charlottesville like in the first, was that in 2020, 2021? So that's 4 years ago. They bring up things that you have to go years back to go through all examples of right-wing violence. Left-wing violence, you can probably think of something from last week. Almost any time you can think of something from last week. Setting shit on fire in California recently is a good example. So but I don't, the other thing you don't see in this particular case, unless he was living a double life, which is possible too, but I don't know. There's no evidence of that. I'm going to go with the evidence we have so far. His voter registration in Oklahoma, because there is no partisan registration in Minnesota. You don't register to vote by party in Minnesota. His roommate talking about him. They've interviewed his roommate, which is, fascinating. But the other part that really bugs me about this Minnesota dude is it's funny how the media is all over talking about his political leanings and his manifesto and this and that. We know everything about it. Isn't it weird how we just automatically, if this is someone affiliated with the right in some way, we know everything about him. They're out there pushing everything about him. Remember that school shooting in Nashville? The little transgender person, remember that? We still don't have. They won't publish that. They won't show us anything about that manifest. They were really quiet about that motherfucker. That stupid girl who thought she was a boy. But yeah, they're quick to talk about this. Where is this guy? Here, I'll just type in Minnesota here. Minnesota suspect. All right, here we go. Vance Bolter. By the way, he that was when he was still wanted. They had a $50,000 reward for him. Scoop, Vance. Here, let's look here. Scoop, Vance Luther Bolter, the alleged suspect in this from a few days ago. They've caught him now. Suspect in the shooting of 2 Minnesota Democratic state lawmakers and their spouses was the CEO of a U.S. government-subsidized private protection agency known as Red Lions Group. Red Lions Group received over $20,000 in small business loans under the SBA program. Bolter is listed as the CEO of Red Lions Group, which was active in the Democratic Republic of Congo. He is highlighted on the Minnesota African Union website. Minnesota African Union website states that it is a statewide umbrella organization that is focused on the well-being of the immigrant community. Former Minnesota State House Leader Melissa Hortman, a Democrat, was shot and killed in a politically motivated, quote-unquote, shooting that took place after she was the lone Democrat House lawmaker to vote against illegal aliens receiving health care funding. Bolter was reportedly appointed as a member of the Governor's Workforce Development Council by former Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton, a Democrat Farmer Labor Union member. No Kings rally flyers were found in his car, according to reports by Minnesota State Patrol. So some people on, I'll say our side, I hate saying our side and their side because it's, I don't think of my side is the side of America, and it just happens to be in the same political philosophy as the people who voted for Trump. Okay. But I hate saying our side is their side because we should all be on the same side in a way, right? We want the success for country. We just have different ideas about how that works. But a lot of people on our side spent the few days trying to tie him to the left and to Democrats. And the people on the left were trying to make sure that he was a MAGA. He's a MAGA terrorist, right? Now here's one. Colin Rugg, new Minnesota shooting suspect Vance Bolter, got in a shootout with former House Speaker Melissa Hortman's home before barging in and killing her. Got to a shootout. How did they know it was a shootout? Well, let's see what this report is on CNN. This is from 22 hours ago. After he had been caught. We'll put this in the links. The separate report here. Mute, unmute. It is unmuted. What the hell? Hang on. Try this. Huh. Did they not have the sound on this? Because I don't have this muted. This is CNN. Let's see if there's sound later in it. No, there's not. Okay, well, so much for that idea. I thought it was me. I thought it was boomer error. Nope. Sorry. Let's see if it pops up on this one when I reopen it. Let's try this. Da-na-na-na-na. And we'll make sure it's unmuted. Is that just that they didn't put the sound in this video? There we go.
Belter then traveled to Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, in the home of Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman. At approximately 3:30 a.m., Belter arrived at Representative Hortman's house in his black SUV with the police license plates.
How did he
parked in the driveway?
And also, how did he get that? I want to know how he got that. How did he have a car with police plates and a fake uniform on? What was going on with this guy? There's some things you're going, How that happen? Why? Who gave him that? Had police plates. Because in Minnesota, all the police vehicles, if whatever jurisdiction you're in, the police plates say police. They don't have separately registered vehicles. They have police on the plates, and then they have the vehicle numbers on the cars. So they actually say police. How do you get those?
Lights on his SUV flashing as if he was a police officer. Belter approached Representative Hortman's home, again dressed as a police officer, wearing the tactical vest and body armor, and wearing that hyper-realistic mask. He was armed and carrying a flashlight. Before he entered the home, 2 Brooklyn Park police officers arrived at the scene.
Okay, this is all you had to share with them.
Dispatched to check on Representative Hortman after learning of the shooting of Senator Hoffman. When they arrived at the scene, they saw
the other part is, how did they know to go there? Did the senator whose house he was at prior tell him that they were going there? How would they know to check on her? Like, that's weird too.
There's black SUV parked in the driveway with the emergency lights flashing, and they saw Belter standing in front of the house several feet from the door. When Belter saw the officers get out of the car, he drew his weapon and began firing. He rushed into the house through the front door, firing into it. He repeatedly fired into the house. And when he entered, he murdered Representative Hortman.
Oh, I don't think this is a false flag at all. I don't think that at all.
The Brooklyn Park police officers fired at Belter as he rushed into the home, but he escaped into the home and out the back. Officers recovered Belter's 9mm Beretta, along with the body armor and the mask, behind the home along his path of flight when he fled on foot. They later searched Belter's car, where they found 5 more firearms, including assault-style rifles and a large...
What does it matter if it's an assault-style rifle? What does that matter? It's a gun. It's a gun that shoots bullets, and the shootout was with the pistols. So I hate when they try to emphasize, well, an assault style rifle. Well, he didn't use the assault style rifle, but I guess they had one. Great. What does that mean? It means nothing.
Quantity of ammunition. Belter also had in his car notebooks containing a list of more than 45 Minnesota state and federal elected.
That's kind of convenient.
Officials, including Representative Portman. Now, Belter planned his attack carefully. He researched his victims and their families. He used the internet and other tools to find their addresses and names, the names of their family members. He conducted surveillance of their homes and took notes about the location of their homes. He also prepared in other ways. He concealed himself as a police officer, outfitting his black SUV with police lights and a police license plate, wearing a black tactical vest and body armor, carrying a police flashlight and a handgun. And of course, he wore that hyper-realistic silicone mask as seen on the surveillance videos.
All right. You get the point. And in the strongest terms, I don't care what his political affiliation was. Fuck that guy. Here's the left's new narrative. Says this suspect in Minnesota shooting voted for Trump, wasn't angry about politics, roommate says. Bullshit. He was a Democrat appointed to a working group by Democrat Tim Walz. Look, there's no evidence that he was a Democrat. There is evidence that he was a Republican, including what his roommate says. But this guy says the roommate's being paid to lie. I don't think so. Look, can we just agree that both sides of the political or all sides of the political spectrum in the United States has some assholes, and this is one of them, and fuck that guy. Let's just say fuck that guy. Can we just do that? Look, I don't give a shit anymore. Just like I don't give a shit about Luigi Mangione, what his political beliefs, whatever. Fuck that guy. If you're going to murder somebody, go fuck yourself. Bury him under the jail. That's what I think. But it's interesting watching people, not want to be associated with it. Well, nobody wants to be associated with it. And here's the one thing, though. Here's the thing I'm going to say. The fact that all the people who would be MAGA or Republican or on the right, the fact that they don't want to be associated with this asshole is a good thing. Is a good thing. Because you know what? It's funny how some of these assholes on the left, some big violent shit happened and they don't want to distance themselves from it. Antifa thugs beating up people, the guy who got murdered in Portland, the guy who run down a kid in his car. Weird how the left didn't want to distance themselves from those assholes. Notice the people on the right are quick to distance themselves from this asshole. And that's a good thing. This suspected assassin of the Minnesota representative and senator has a very odd past that literally makes no sense. How does he go from general manager of a 7-Eleven to CEO of Red Lion Group in 2021? How many GMs of 7-Eleven do you know that are doctors of education? Look, this guy, I saw a video about how he was quite an attention seeker too, and that's why they had him preaching in the Congo about Jesus, and he was trying to, had all this weird rhetoric there. Not weird, I mean just rhetoric. But trying to make himself into some big guy, and I think this guy is just trying to find a way. Part of it's trying to make himself famous. Minnesota Representative Melissa Hartman sided with Republicans in her state that voted for a bill that would have taken away health care for adult illegal immigrants. Shortly after this video, she had her life taken. The suspect had no King's flyers in his car. Says it all. Well, it doesn't say it all. There's more to it, and I'd love to know more about it. But again, this is people on the right distancing themselves from a guy who committed murder. That's a good thing. And the people on the left are like, oh, you get to own it. Oh, this is Trump's rhetoric. Oh, this is that. Go fuck yourself. Talk about violent rhetoric. I could give you 2 hours of video of representatives on the left, Democrat politicians, encouraging violence, using violent language, calling people Nazis. Well, gosh, if you call people Nazis, I'm pretty sure maybe someone want to stop the Nazis, right? So go fuck yourself with your self-righteousness if you're on the left. whatever, because we're distancing ourselves from this asshole. Did I make my point? Breaking, Minnesota State Patrol confirms the assassination suspect had no Kings flyers in their car. The teachers union promoted this nationwide day of defiance. Suspected Minnesota assassin Vance Boulder also allegedly killed state representative's beloved rescue dog in a grisly murder. Killed the dog. Bury him in the cement of the new jail. This is from 2 days ago. Has been arrested. We already knew that. Is there anything new? Let's go here, and then we're going to call it a day. I didn't get to some of the stuff I wanted to get to, but that's okay. And this is this is basically what the left says. This is good. Minnesota shooting suspect went from youthful evangelizer to far-right zealot. Deadly. Whatever. The suspect in Minnesota political assassination incident visited the homes of other political figures before going on his killing spree. Prosecutors have said, dressed as a police officer, he drove to at least 4 homes belonging to state politicians before eventually attacking 2 lawmakers and their spouses. According to authorities, a manifesto explaining his actions has not been found. Oh! So those reports were a lie. Despite earlier media reports which were made narrow, Vance Boulder embarked on a planned campaign of stalking and violence designed to inflict fear and injure and kill members of the Minnesota state legislature and their family. FBI affidavit says the suspect visited more than the 2 homes where shootings took place overnight Saturday, authorities said, but in one case, there was nobody home, and in another case, officers arrived at the home as a precaution after the first shooting had taken place. How do they know? They find his face on a Ring camera. When they arrived, the suspect was present in his falsified police vehicle, but left shortly thereafter and before the authorities realized he was the shooter. Notebooks were found in which the suspect had described the lawmakers targeted, their homes and avenues of approach, and similar. The FBI affidavit says those in the notebook were mostly or all Democrats. Well, is it mostly or all? Does that mean it wasn't all Democrats? Let's be accurate. It also notes that the suspect sent a text to his wife and other family members after the shooting saying, "Dad went to war last night. I don't want to say more because I don't want it to implicate anybody." Officers found a vehicle that had been recently purchased by the suspect in rural Sibley County, Minnesota on Sunday. Inside the vehicle was a note that confessed to the shootings, they said. So, X is great for finding news like this. This is tragic, and fuck that guy. Put him in jail. All right. Do I have time? I don't have time. There's also something about a Utah shooting here. I'll put a separate link for this so you can find these easy. There's that. All right, so you got that. Let's see here. Utah I'll put a link to the Utah shooting. Utah shooting no Kings. All right, here's, I'll go through this. Our Utah No Kings shooting film from high-rise apartment of downtown Salt Lake overlooking State Street, my general hood. Video show chaos at Utah No Kings Day protest. 1 person was killed. The alleged rifleman is in custody. Wow, your guy in Utah at No Kings killing a fellow protester after shooting at cops. Care to comment? So this guy was part of the protest and shot at cops. Amazing when you Google Utah shooting, you got mostly stories about the shooting at the No Kings protest. It's only when you conclude an 8-month-old killed is when you get the Westfest articles. Murder suspect in Utah No Kings shooting was a Trump-hating, Antifa-loving leftist. Oh, well, I bet they're not talking about it then. They are unhinged and completely brainwashed morons. Bad combo platter. All right, I'll make a separate link for that. That's it, guys. I gotta be done, but thank you so much for being back. Did I miss a Streamlabs? I hope I didn't. Let me check here first. I don't want to neglect anybody who did a Streamlabs. If not, my thing isn't working here still because I can't find him. No, there are not. So thank you, JB, for sponsoring the show today. Thanks everyone who came back. I'm back. Ha ha! And I am so glad to be back. We'll be back tomorrow at the normal time, roughly around 10 o'clock Eastern. And that's it for today. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful flipping day. Time to go, though. My name is Dawg Knight. And I am out of here. Have a great flipping day. Pow! Hey, this is Dawg Knight. And I got to change the outro. On the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.